There is nothing more popular in the nutrition world right now than the carnivore diet, the diet that consists of only eating meat and animal products. And as a doctor of human nutrition, I've had my reservations about it. It doesn't make much sense from a scientific perspective, but also from a social or cultural perspective. And quite honestly, the potential upside doesn't really outweigh the potential dangers. But the people out there, they swear by it. So I needed to research this way of eating further and present this to you. Is there anything good about the carnivore diet? Let's go over some of its redeeming qualities, starting with one that may actually improve your health and ending with what I feel, and it kills me to say it, is the most redeeming quality of this way of eating. So stay tuned for that. But let's start with number one, as a potential elimination diet. Essentially, the carnivore diet is a very strict elimination diet. And while there are similarities between traditional elimination diets, which are used by healthcare and nutrition professionals, there are also some key differences. Elimination diets are a structured approach to eating that helps identify and eliminate foods that may be causing adverse reactions like allergies and intolerances. And for many individuals with allergies or autoimmune disorders or even medical conditions, elimination diets can pinpoint what foods are the issue or at least are suspected to be part of the issue or a symptom. So by doing an elimination diet, it's a helpful way to identify what those foods are so they can be avoided in the future. Now, typically, this is how this works. You start with a limited list of foods that are less likely to cause reactions. They are simple foods and easily digestible, like rice, lean meat, and some specific fruits. Normally, the foods that are eliminated are specific to the specific individual's condition, like avoiding dairy or wheat and therefore gluten, as well as soy in certain fruits and vegetables. Ideally, the more specific they are, the better, and then after a period of time, they're reintroduced. Now, the carnivore diet is different in that it eliminates all foods that aren't meat or animal based, i.e. all plant-based foods, with the intent of eliminating all plant toxins. And there's so much that is taken away, meaning that there are probably some foods that are eliminated that could be causing some symptoms. And therefore, someone following the carnivore diet may see improvements in digestion, energy levels, and overall vitality. And for many, as you express on my carnivore diet videos, this can be a life-changing thing, and I am sincerely happy if that has happened to you. If you go from feeling uncomfortable all the time to energized and now leading a healthy, normal life, that's going to be a positive change. But if we take a step back and look at the big picture view, in most cases, this isn't because you eliminated all plant food. It's probably because you're now consuming less processed foods as well as avoiding some trigger foods. And those short-term improvements of symptoms do not guarantee long-term health benefits or outcomes. So if that being said, if the carnivore diet is something you want to try for a period of time as an elimination diet before adding plant-based foods back in, fine. But it's probably better to do a true elimination diet under medical supervision and use it as a diagnostic tool to identify specific foods that are causing problems instead of just using the carnivore diet this way and eating that way for the rest of your life. However, cutting out all plant-based foods does put the emphasis on one thing that most people find very beneficial, which is going to be our second point, more protein. After nutrition coaching thousands of individuals over the last 10 years, I found one thing that most of them are not eating nearly enough of before we start working together, and that is protein, especially those that want to get leaner and put on some muscle or see any sort of body composition change. The majority of the people that come to me before we start working together are eating anywhere between 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, which is just above, barely above the recommended dietary allowance of 0.8 grams per kilogram, which is essentially the bare minimum amount of protein your body requires. It's not optimal. It's hard to say exactly how much protein an individual needs because there's so much variation from person to person, but I'm confident in saying that it's nearly double that in most cases. So if you only start eating meat and animal-based foods and products with sufficient calories, you'll start to see the benefits of eating more protein. More appetite and energy regulation, the potential to gain some muscle or at least retain the muscle that you already have, and more benefits just like that. Now, I do wish that these individuals didn't need to swear off plant-based foods in order to get there, because there are so many benefits of plants and the accompanying nutrients, but this is a positive of the diet. as well as the source of protein quality is notable as well. In most cases, if you're eating a bunch of protein from varied sources, supplying different nutrients, you don't need to worry very much about where that protein is coming from. But if you were obsessed with ranking them individually, those animal sources would be of higher quality, more complete amino acid profile, a higher rate of digestibility, and a stronger ability to stimulate protein synthesis. But I do need to stress this, you can get all the benefits of eating meat and none of the drawbacks drawbacks of not eating plants by just eating both. But the carnivore diet does have an emphasis of eating more protein from higher quality sources, so that is a benefit of the diet. And this does translate into the following payoff, which is number 3, weight loss. So many people start new diets or dietary approaches with the intent of losing weight. Unfortunately, there's still widespread confusion on what causes weight loss, which is going to be a long-term energy imbalance. When you take in less energy from food and drink than you burn over time, your body's going to tap into your energy reserves to make up that difference. And then you lose weight. And this imbalance, sometimes known as a calorie deficit, can happen with a variety of different approaches or diets or foods, just like the carnivore diet, but also the keto diet or by going vegan, which all have different focuses and structure. But when you consider the carnivore diet with lots of protein and minimally processed foods, you have food items that keep you full, that also increase your metabolism due to the higher thermic effect of food, and help you retain the muscle that you already do have. It's a perfect recipe for weight loss. Now, there is a chance by following the carnivore diet that you don't lose weight, because eating this way doesn't guarantee that you'll be in a calorie deficit. So many do lose weight, which may lead to some health benefits, because when you reduce unnecessary or additional body fat, you generally see a positive change in blood lipids, cholesterol, and decreased disease risk. Now, of all the approaches, this is the one that's most likely to be accompanied by an increase in LDL cholesterol and heart disease risk, but not necessarily, because that body weight change is also a driving factor of all of these changes. In my opinion, the carnivore diet is the riskiest way to lose weight, but it can be effective, so it shouldn't be overlooked, especially if it's just for a set period of time. And this is the same scenario as the ketogenic diet, but I'd rather see you include carbohydrates and not go into ketosis to lose weight. But if your goals are weight loss and this helps you reach your goals and stick to it, that is not going to be the hill I'm going to die on. Additionally, the carnivore diet may help you with this next benefit or payoff, which is going to be number 4, cooking at home. If you want to lose weight or improve your health, you will benefit from cooking the majority of your food at home and eating whole, unprocessed foods. And since the carnivore diet is focused on eating mainly meat and animal-based products, there's going to be limited prepackaged options at grocery stores and different items and options at restaurants. So you're going to be preparing and cooking most of your own food at home, which for most people is going to have some amazing benefits. First off, you're going to have full control over what goes into your meals. Many restaurant meals or prepackaged foods are going to have additional carbohydrates and sugar and oils and excess fat and other additives and preservatives that aren't necessary and could be detrimental to your health. And they also tend to be higher in calories, which makes it tougher to manage your body weight. So when you cook at home and you can control all of these variables, it's going to make reaching your goals and improving your health much easier. And for individuals with food intolerance, you can just simply avoid them and avoid all the foods that cause you discomfort. You also get the additional benefit of improving your cooking skills. One of the biggest obstacles for people that want to improve their health and lose weight is they don't like cooking their own food, or at least they don't feel like they're good at it. When you're following a restrictive diet like the carnivore diet, you're sort of forced to cook and prepare most of your own meals and follow new recipes and put the effort into making your food, or in this case, your meat, taste better. And once you get past those awkward first learning stages, a lot of people find fun and enjoyment in cooking and preparing their own meals. With that being said, and this is sort of becoming a theme here, you don't need to go on the carnivore diet to prepare more of your meals at home, but on the diet you're more or less forced to because food options are more limited. Now let's move on to our next benefit, which is going to be point number 5, community. When you start anything new, it can be hard to stick to, especially if those around you aren't following it or aren't supporting you. One thing that is a positive in some of these rule-based or specific types of diets, like the carnivore diet and the emergence of the internet and social media, is that it's not hard to find a community to support you. There are entire recipe websites and YouTube channels and Facebook support groups dedicated to the carnivore diet, where a community of people are following the carnivore diet and going through similar things with similar goals there to support you. This offers motivation and recipe ideas and all helpful things that can keep people on track. This support cannot be overlooked. It is vital to sticking to something long term. Look at any of my videos talking about the carnivore diet and this is what you'll find. You don't have to look far to see the support, and for that reason, the carnivore diet, which has a passionate following, an enthusiastic group of people wanting to share their way of eating with you, sometimes to a fault, is a huge positive and benefit to the diet, and I mean that sincerely. And lastly, number 6, sticking to it. In order for dietary approaches to work, you need to stick to them. There's no getting around it. And this doesn't matter if it's the most logical, well thought out planned or an approach that makes no sense at all, you gotta stick to it. In medical terms, we call the act of sticking to something adherence. And adherence is driven by 2 main things, which the carnivore diet has in spades. First off, simplicity. The carnivore diet is super simple to follow. When you can only eat meat and animal products and exclude everything else, it makes it very clear if you're following the diet or not. But also, and this is just as important, it's the belief that this approach is going to work for you. This is the most important aspect, because when you truly believe something is going to work, you're bought in and you put more effort into it. And guess what? It tends to work out better for you. And when so many people start the carnivore diet, they are convinced it's going to work for them. And that's because they bought into the people sharing their own stories, but also because the pain that they're feeling right now outweighs the pain of trying and adopting something new. So they do it, and for some of the reasons that I've outlined today, start to see some positive health benefits. And for those reasons, it makes it easier to stick to. And that's it, folks. Those are some of the redeeming qualities of the carnivore diet. I did have to search and brainstorm a bit, and keep in mind many of these benefits you can achieve without excluding plants, but there are some benefits. And in summary, you do need to remember that short-term improvements and decrease in symptoms do not guarantee long-term health outcomes or benefits, and the benefits of eating only meat probably don't outweigh the drawbacks or potential risks of excluding plants entirely. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and if you're coming back and enjoying another video, I'd love to hear about your thoughts on the video in the comments below. Today I shared all the good points about the carnivore diet, but I also wanted to share with you my experience going on the diet and why I quit the carnivore diet in the first place. You can hear all about that in the video I've linked up right here. So make sure to check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video.